You've met them. You probably didn't even realize it at first. Maybe it was the friend who always supported you until you started doing better than them. The partner who said they couldn't live without you but slowly made you feel like you couldn't live without them. Or maybe it was a parent who wrapped their control in love and their fears in care. This is not about obvious enemies. This is about something far more dangerous. People who love you just enough to destroy you. Welcome to a journey into the deepest corridors of the human psyche. In this video, we're going to unravel the terrifying beauty of emotional ambivalence, the psychology of toxic love, and the twisted dance between attachment and annihilation. Prepare to question your relationships, your past, and maybe even yourself. But here's the mystery. Why are we drawn to people who both love us and hurt us? And more importantly, why do we sometimes become those people? The ancient Greek philosophers knew this paradox well. Plato spoke of love as a divine madness, capable of both elevating and enslaving the soul. He said, "Love is a serious mental disease." Now imagine that disease in the hands of someone who knows your weaknesses, your dreams, your softest vulnerabilities, and loves you just enough to weaponize them. These are not villains in the traditional sense. They often believe they're saving you, protecting you, even loving you. But in reality, they're keeping you small, dependent, controllable. Let's go back to childhood, because that's where these patterns often begin. As children, we learn love through the way it's given to us. If love was conditional based on performance, obedience, or emotional quietness, we internalize a dangerous rule: that love and pain must coexist. This creates what psychologists call an ambivalent attachment style. You crave closeness, but you fear it too. Every time someone gets too close, a part of you whispers, "This is how it starts. This is how I lose myself." Now ask yourself, how many of your relationships have been built on that quiet terror? The partner who says, "I love you," but punishes you with silence when you show independence. The friend who says, "I support you," but vanishes when you succeed. The parent who says, "It's for your own good," while crushing your sense of self. These are the people who love you just enough to destroy you, not because they are evil, but because they are broken in ways that mirror your own fractures. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Think about that. How many of your relationships have felt like fate? Inevitable, deep, soul-bound? And yet, each time you try to grow, something pulls you back. That something is often the invisible contract you've signed with someone who only knows how to love you in limitation. They love the version of you that doesn't threaten their comfort, the smaller you, the quieter you.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound insights.
At the 3-minute mark of this journey, let me introduce you to a deeper layer. The internal saboteur. We all have one. It's the voice inside us that says, "Don't be too much, don't change, don't outgrow your tribe." This saboteur is often shaped by the people who loved us just enough to keep us in place. And when we internalize that voice, we become our own destroyers. We sabotage our success. We tolerate mistreatment. We cling to people who validate our wounded beliefs about love. Imagine this. A man meditates alone in the mountains, seeking peace. But every time he finds stillness, a voice in his head whispers, "You're not allowed to be free." Where did that voice come from? A parent? A lover? A friend? Or is it now him? This is the terrifying realization sometimes. The people who love us just enough to destroy us don't even need to be in the room anymore. They live in our decisions, our self-talk, our fears. Now let's amplify the conflict. Why do we stay? Why do we keep choosing these people again and again? The answer lies deep in the psychological need for coherence. It's more painful to accept that someone loved us wrongly than to believe we deserve that kind of love. So we twist ourselves into pretzels to make it make sense. We say they didn't mean it, they were doing their best. Or the most dangerous one, maybe I'm too sensitive. But here's the truth. You are not too sensitive. You are finally waking up. You are finally starting to see the invisible prison built from love that came with conditions. And now you face a terrifying choice: stay in the comfort of the known or walk into the painful freedom of the unknown. This is the psychological crucifixion. The moment when you must kill the version of yourself that was loved by people who never wanted you to grow. Soren Kierkegaard once wrote, "The most painful state of being is remembering the future, particularly the one you'll never have." Think about that for a moment. When you stay with someone who loves you just enough to limit you, you are grieving futures you will never live. The books you won't write. The places you won't travel. The self you'll never become. All because someone wrapped chains in affection and called it love. Let me ask you a question so deep it might echo in your dreams. Who would you be if you were never taught to shrink for someone else's comfort? Who is the you that's been buried under years of emotional compromise? That version of you is still alive, but it's suffocating. And every day you stay tethered to someone who only loves you in fragments, you drift further from your whole self. Now let's look at the destroyers themselves. Why do they do it? Often they don't know they are. They fear abandonment, growth, change. They think if you evolve, you'll leave them behind. And maybe you will, but instead of growing with you, they try to cage you. They use guilt, fear, even love as weapons. Don't you care about me? Are you saying I'm not enough? You've changed. These are not questions, they are emotional hooks designed to pull you back into the role they need you to play. And here's the paradox. They do love you, but it's a love filtered through insecurity, control, and fear. It's not your job to fix them. It's your job to wake up, to see the trap, to reclaim your voice. Because the longer you stay in that dynamic, the more you begin to forget who you were before the compromise. Before you made yourself smaller to fit into their love. Let's re-engage your soul with something profound. Imagine a mirror not made of glass but of memory. Every time you look into it, you don't see your face. You see all the times you betrayed yourself to be loved. Every time you bit your tongue. Every time you said yes when you meant no. Every time you tolerated less because more felt selfish. That mirror doesn't lie, but it can also show you your power, because the moment you see the pattern, you are no longer its prisoner. The second re-engagement moment is this. You are not broken. You were conditioned. And anything conditioned can be unlearned. But unlearning is painful. It means grieving the people who loved you wrongly. It means walking alone for a while. It means becoming someone unfamiliar to those who only knew the version of you that tolerated their limitations. But what waits on the other side is freedom. And freedom is terrifying, because it comes with responsibility. When no one is holding you back, you can no longer blame them. You have to build your life, choose your friends, set your standards. And that's the final test. Can you love yourself enough to walk away from those who only love you in ways that harm you? Let's go deeper. You're still here, which means some part of you knows this truth already. You felt it in your bones, in the silence after an argument, in the hollow after being praised for being easy to love. And now, you're beginning to see what you couldn't then. Love in its broken form can be the most sophisticated form of control. You're not crazy, you're awakening. In the second half of this exploration, we face the most difficult truths, not just about others but about ourselves. Because here's the twist, we don't just attract these relationships, We often participate in them. We feed them. We enable the very dynamics that hold us captive. Why? Because if we can keep people close no matter the cost, we feel safe. The illusion of connection is more comforting than the reality of emptiness. This is the psychology of entanglement, not love, not connection, entanglement. Where identity is fused with obligation, where affection is laced with guilt, and where freedom feels like betrayal. Friedrich Nietzsche warned us, love is not consolation, it is light. But many of us were taught that love should soothe, should protect, should never change. So when someone begins to outgrow the role they were assigned, it feels like betrayal to those who loved the old version of them. Let's bring this into the realm of practical advice. How do you spot a person who loves you just enough to destroy you? Look for the patterns. They complement your light, but subtly dim it. They support your dreams, but only as long as those dreams don't take you further away from them. They encourage your healing until your boundaries begin to threaten their control. These people rarely scream. They don't need to. Their weapon is subtlety. They plant doubt. They make you question your right to evolve. But here's something no one tells you. It's not the toxic person who breaks you. It's the slow erosion of self-trust. It's the moment you stop believing your feelings are valid. That's the real destruction. And it doesn't happen all at once. It happens over years. A comment here, a withdrawal there. A pattern of shaping your behavior to avoid conflict, until one day you look in the mirror and realize you don't recognize yourself anymore. So what do we do with this knowledge? First, we must grieve, not just the people we loved, but the illusions we built around their love. We must grieve the years we spent trying to fit into a version of ourselves that made others comfortable. And we must forgive ourselves for not knowing better, for staying too long, for confusing being needed with being loved. This is not weakness. This is healing. And healing demands something radical. Honesty. Brutal, honest confrontation with your own patterns. Ask yourself, where do I tolerate emotional manipulation because I fear loneliness? Where do I downplay my needs to keep the peace? Where do I accept almost love because real love feels too risky? These are the questions that crack the code of your own suffering. And once cracked, you cannot go back. Let's bring in the wisdom of Erich Fromm, who said, immature love says, I love you because I need you. Mature love says, I need you because I love you. The difference is profound. People who love you just enough to destroy you often operate from immature love. They need you to stay small because your growth threatens their emotional equilibrium. They confuse possession with intimacy, control with care, attachment with loyalty. But real love, mature love, doesn't fear your evolution. It celebrates it. It doesn't ask you to shrink. It stretches with you. It doesn't punish your boundaries. It honors them. And here's the hard part. Many people will leave when you begin to love yourself this way. That's not a sign something is wrong. That's proof you're finally choosing yourself. Now let's face the shadow. What if you've been that person? What if you've loved someone just enough to hold them back, to keep them close, to feed your own fears of abandonment? This is not about blame. This is about awakening. Every one of us has, at some point, been the destroyer, because we are all wounded. And wounded people often use love as a shield, a weapon, a leash. But here's the redemption. Awareness gives us a choice. You can choose to love without control. You can choose to support someone's freedom, even if it scares you. You can choose to stay. Not because they need you, but because you want to witness their becoming. That is the highest form of love. And it requires a dismantling of ego, pride, and fear. But it is possible, and it is worth it. At this point in the journey, let's return to a mystical moment. Imagine a room with two chairs. In one sits the version of you that stayed small to be loved. In the other sits the version of you that walked away. Look at them both. Feel their pain, their courage, their loneliness, their strength. Which one do you choose to become? Which one do you forgive? This is not just psychological, it's spiritual. Because every time you reclaim a piece of your soul from someone who only loved parts of you, you get closer to truth, closer to wholeness, closer to the divine. You were not born to be manageable. You were born to be free. And anyone who cannot hold your fullness does not deserve your fragments. Let's anchor this in practice. Write a letter to the person who loved you just enough to destroy you. Don't send it. Just write it. Let the pages hold your truth. Tell them what you couldn't say when you were still afraid to lose them. Tell them how it felt to be dimmed, to be doubted, to be adored only when you were silent. And then write a letter to yourself, to the part of you that stayed and the part of you that's finally ready to leave. Now for a final soul-piercing question. If your inner child could see the relationships you've chosen, what would they say? Would they feel safe, seen, loved, or would they recognize the patterns they once tried to escape? Sometimes, healing is about breaking promises we made to our past. Promises like, I'll never be alone, I'll always be loyal, or I'll stay no matter what. But those promises were made in survival. You are not surviving anymore. You are awakening. And here's the payoff when you let go of those who love you just enough to destroy you. You make space for those who love you enough to set you free. These people exist. They are rare, but they are real. And you will not find them while clinging to the familiar poison of conditional love. You will only find them when you become that person first. Love yourself enough to let yourself evolve, to walk away, to rebuild. And here's the payoff when you let go of those who love you just enough to destroy you. You make space for those who love you enough to set you free. These people exist. They are rare, but they are real. And you will not find them while clinging to the familiar poison of conditional love. You will only find them when you become that person first. Love yourself enough to let yourself evolve, to walk away, to rebuild. The ending of this journey is not flashy. It's quiet. It's the sound of you, alone in your room, breathing deeper than you have in years. It's the moment you delete the number, unfollow the memory, reclaim your mornings. It's the moment you hear your own voice again, and it no longer trembles. That is the payoff. That is the freedom. So remember this, love should never cost you yourself. And if it does, it's not love, it's a lesson. And you, my friend, are finally ready to graduate.